What time is it? Supply drop time! Requesting a material drop for the designated point, please. Starting material drop now! Yes, let's keep it going! Go, go, go! Yes, let's keep it going! Yes, let's keep
So
it
many
going.
weapons.
Got a good feeling.
Oh my god. What the hell, game?
Yay! You're so
Oh!
lucky.
Oh! Aha! Well, would you look at that? I guess we're gonna be doing this now. Alrighty. There you have it. We have the Baund Doc.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Bonga machine! Bonga machine! Alright, well, I guess I can do the rundown. Well, I'm gonna do the... God, do you know what that means? I have to do a video now. Because it's still relevant. It's still a thing. I wish I had matches from, like, customs, to be honest.
I'll exchange.
Goose out of the 13th here with another look at a new suit. We got it a couple days late, but we did nab it. The Baund Doc is here, finally, after years. And people just kind of speculating when it was actually going to get thrown in there. We have it right before the 4th anniversary of this game. Holy shit. So, let's take a look at the kit real quick. Baund Doc beam rifle is the only thing. All of this is pretty much unique to the suit. And the other interesting thing to note is that both the rifle itself and the mega particle cannon are both heat-based right here. The melee on the arm claw, this is one thing. And when we were talking about this a lot, I was hoping that both the saber and the arm claw would be counted, and they were. So I'm really excited about that. The arm claw is at 3k, the saber is at 2500, and in general, not bad output on any of this. And then if we look at the transformation, which yes, it does transform and fold up into a little crab. I don't know if I can show that. Yeah, there we go. Look at it. It gets so small. It's so funny. Like when you see this thing get stunned out of its thing, it looks so hilarious. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, the interesting thing to note is that its power actually goes up. In its not only does it go up in its transformation mode, but the cooldown times in general, just like overheat and stuff, is faster in its transformation mode, and that lends to the nature of its transformation mode as well. But let's go down the stats first, and then we'll go into skills. So for the Baund Doc, we have 21k health, ballistic resistance is 16, beam resistance is 28, melee resistance is 28, range strength is 21, melee strength is 44 out of the gate. Movement speed is 135, top speed is 225, thruster gauge is 80, and turning speed is 78. In terms of the part slots, we're talking close range is 18, medium range is 20, and long range is 10. Transformed, I think the only two things that really change is that it gets a little bit more top speed at 240, and the turning speed actually lowers a little bit, although of course you can slow down and do your turning speed a little bit more with the air brake. So in terms of skills, we're talking Assault Booster level 2, Anti-Blast Stabilizer level 1, High Performance Radar level 2, Force Injectant level 2, Melee Combo Controller level 2, Flight Control Program level 3, Maneuver Armor level 2, Transformation Flight level 2, Enhanced Tackle level 5, so you're talking plus 200 to attack, and plus 30% to distance covered. High Performance Balancer level 1, Damage Control level 1, Waist Special Cushioning level 2. The arm gets a buffer as well. Both of these are at 15%. Special Leg Buffer is only at 10. Psycho Wave, which is its own little mode here, so at 30% HP, boosts mobility and attack. It also reduces most staggers, so you can just kind of move in and get your last bits of damage or just try to overwhelm whoever's fucking with you. And then of course High Spec Ambac level 2, which is pretty nice. And that, I want to say... No, actually, yeah. But this is the interesting thing. So, you get Ram Attack. I'm trying to think what else. So that's one thing to note, actually. Baund Doc in its neutral state does not have a roll. You cannot roll. But when you fold in, you do like little flips and stuff. So you can roll. It's the transformation. That being said, as you can see, you only get one. There's no level 2 for this, unfortunately, which I kind of wish that was the case, but it is not. It switches out and then just loses handback. So yeah, the enhanced tackle just turns into ram attack, which is still nice. It's good that it still has it. and then everything else more or less just transfers over. But yeah, overall a really interesting suit. A lot of just simple kit mixed with a really complicated and kind of neat mode switch between here. But we can demonstrate that a little bit better over at the base and go into a practice, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more from there. Okay, so let's try to take a run down here. So the usual instance done, no charge on the rifle. The actual Mega Particle has 2 bursts of like several bursts of just straight up shotgun like behavior. Like this actually has damage control on it as well, and is getting through that pretty easily as long as you're able to keep it trained on them. That being said, because it is a dispersed beam, the further away you get, the harder it's going to be for you to actually nail those consistently. It does have a little bit more coverage, although I would say it's not super crazy on the output. The charge here, while transport, actually gives you a big beam, and once we get back to the this being uncharged, we'll rev that up as well. But this actually is something I'm happy about because it comes out as just a really tight shotgun blast. That's something that it actually does in other games, and specifically Baund has a very similar thing. And of course, again, as you get further away, sometimes it will like start to spread out a little bit more, but that actually was pretty tight. I'm actually a little impressed with that. So yeah, it's got both melee, the claw in particular, and I'll try to demonstrate it here in a second. Actually, is an instant knockdown. It is pretty nasty. Of course, you only get the 1 hit from it, but makes it pretty easy to follow up with things. One thing, of course, as it tends to be, is that I'm not super great with scooty suits. The momentum throws me for a loop quite a bit with this thing, and I'm still trying to get that down. But it is incredibly aggressive. To get a little bit more boost here, we will try to show off the transformation, and this is why honestly you should probably have a fair bit more boost on this as well. So in the transformation, 2 things are really odd here, because it can be shot out of the sky very easily when it's not boosting, but when it boosts, it actually gets maneuver armor, which means it can resist things when it moves in for its claws. That's something that initially I was kind of turned off by when I heard about it. But it really hasn't seemed to phase people, and it's mostly for a particular reason, which is that because it's a transformable that behaves like a flying suit, if you keep it low enough to the ground, when you get stunned, and maybe we can show it off a little bit here. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Turn around, stupid. Nah, he's not gonna shoot me in time. Dude, it might be better to just try to find one of these other guys. Come on. Shoot me. There we go. Yeah, so whenever you fold in, and you're particularly low to the ground, you actually, okay, you guys need to chill out. I'm trying to talk about shit. But you actually, don't flop out and fold down. You actually just unfold from your transformation and can do stuff, which is really nice. Also, another combo that you can try to do, although I'll be honest, I'm not super great at it, is to try to get your melee out in both ends. So you can do the big swipe for the claw, which is amazing, by the way. I love this thing. Although one thing to keep in mind is that it actually has combo controller in its transformation, which is hilarious for the claws. Although I would say ultimately you're just going for big like grabby down swings into other stuff. So like you would try to do, and then some sort of thing like that. It's possible to go claw to claw. If you're not as fumbly as me when it comes to some of the combos, then it's definitely doable, because I was practicing with it yesterday and I was able to pull it off, but I still really had to get my rhythm down with this thing. And that's something that I will say about this, because when we get into the gameplay, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. Although I do enjoy this thing, I was having a bit of a hard time with it, and I only really got 3 matches the other day before we started up on this. And it is a bit of a pain. and especially on Arctic. Just because it is amazing when you can just kind of roll and steamroll through, but like it has so much more advantage from doing its transformation because, I mean, look at this shit. This is ridiculous. It's got a lot of variable movement, and a lot of people, at least early on, were mistaking it for just like a mobile armor. So they were just going super hard with like downswings and other things to commit to, and then it was just literally folding back out and like tackling and countering people and doing all this other nutty shit. So like it's got a lot of stuff going for it. In terms of output though, for the base, it's not bad. It's actually not that bad at all. I'm a little surprised that they were willing to kind of just let it rock like that. So you can get a good chunk out of this just by wailing on it in both your modes. Obviously, there's probably other things that'll do it faster, but if you already had the team wiped, you can actually contribute a fair amount there, so, you know, don't discount that for sure. Like, that's just gross. 64-24, even if that's, like, neutral. That was just on another raid. It must be noted that the damage we're talking about right now is also because I got that shit beat out of me and the mode is on. So it does give you a fair tick up as well. And I'm assuming most people would probably put on some sort of offense to round out the output. But overall, this thing is pretty monstrous at its job. That being said, as you were seeing even when I was trying to demonstrate that it can be stunned out of its mode, things get very hectic the second you lose its momentum. It still suffers from raid life in that regard, and especially because as small and cute as it is when it's kind of just folded up and flying around, it's a big boy when it's actually on the floor. This is a huge suit. Like, it's contesting being the same size as this thing, which was actually kind of sizable when it first came out, but also having a huge, you know, big old bug dumpy. There's a lot to hit on this suit, especially from the side profile because of the skirt itself. And boy, oh boy, you know, you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile, so you're gonna get chunked for a lot. Thankfully, you do get some extra resistances, and on the ground, it actually is a little rough to stop, unless you're just, like, focus firing or getting some no-fun gun shit going on against it. But I've enjoyed it so far, as frustrating as it can be at times, especially when you do get caught out like that. You know, that's just raid stuff. That's just me having to get my skill issue shit out of the way and sorted. Other people that I've seen run this, it really has been kind of 50-50 though. Like, there's been some fun runs that I've seen, and others that have just been frustrating to deal with, and then others just get absolutely folded. And it just ends up being free points depending on what's going on. So I'm really interested to see how this happens, how people run this in clans, because it is at 650. It is at the cost. And it is going to be a simple battle, which means this thing doesn't really have to worry about any other objectives. And everyone's going to be pretty aggressive in close quarters with each other more often than not. So, like, it's going to be right at home on something like Arctic in a mode like that. But yeah, speaking of gameplay, like I said ahead of time, forgive some of my shitty runs here, but we are going to show off a little bit of it in a match right about here. And oh my god, there's so many of us. Oh, are we doing this? Oh man, they actually already know. Oh boy. Oh.
That's it. We're off to the battle.
We got 2 Rababus for our generals. They're gonna be just as aggressive as everyone else. Bunga squad, yeah, just hardcore bunga squad. And a Delta. I mean, Delta can do it a little too, but yeah, he's gonna definitely just be like backlining, because otherwise it's just gonna get in the way, especially with the priority on the Rababus.
Here we go.
It's really weird. This thing feels like it's it feels like air deja vu. The way that it's able to move sometimes. Oh. Murdered. Oh my god. This guy got murdered. Leave me alone. Get that out. There's a delay on that. There's some very strong latency going on right now. Like, it's registering my damage, but just registering it's like late as fuck. Hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him. Yeah, meanwhile, transform, they refuse to fix what they've already broke, right? If they want to try something different, quote unquote, they might as well fuck around with those since they already are fucking with like flight suits and transformable suits in general. Tease out that shit. Oh my god. So many of them though. Ugh. It's time for Fib. Oh! I should have sung again. Also, that was a really bad reflex to fucking just fire that. Oh god. Embarrassing. Where's the tank? Oh, that is man. Oh, let's go back. Oh, he died. Did he see a pilot? I'm a little curious because that might be what that was. Didn't say anything. No, at least not immediately. I'm coming. I feel like he's still in that gear cave, whatever that was that was trying to shoot the face. Yeah, he's still in there. What is that? Oh, it's you again. I don't know if you're gonna go for that or not. Oh. Clothesline him. Oh, I'm dead. Ryan is also about to go off, so now I can roll again. Uh-oh. The enabling. The enabling.
This one's close, but there's still time.
Is that Dolphin still there? No way. No way. Oh, he did it again. I don't know if he hit more though. I get it though, because there's like 3 of us that are raids, but like, that's so weird. He's just been chilling there for a hot minute. Oh boy. I keep thinking that's a fucking shot and it's not, because it's not, it's the defaults.
Destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
It is not.
2 minutes left in the mission. Base has just jumped up in priority.
Ooh.
This team is
Oh, Dovin. I was like, what shot that? Whoa. Well, that's awkward. What the fuck was that about? Oh, these guys are tired of this Dovin. Alright, are you ready? Wow, that hit everywhere but where they were. Oh boy. And the neutral charge isn't super great on this thing, unfortunately. Ooh, nice. I'm not really sure why he went into melee, but okay. I guess just for the sake of maybe it having less defense for that. Oh my lord. I was hoping I could at least get a stun on one of them, but I fucked up. Also, I am now the man. I am now the Speen. Sorry I didn't react to that, because I had no idea it was happening. You know what I could do? And I might try to make a sound for that. Alright, welcome back. So yeah, that match was kind of rough, although I feel like I was getting at least the hang of it a little bit at that point. Also, one thing in terms of the weapon fumbling is that I actually did change. If you see here, because I changed it from my usual build, I forgot to actually switch these around, but the Mega Particle and the Claw, I've actually switched around from their X and O positions with each other. And that definitely did help out a little bit. I'm hoping that I can at least tighten up some of the melee on this thing and get a little bit more consistent, because it's a fun suit. I like the way it behaves. Also, this is kind of funny. Look at it. First of all, look at it all folded up, but then it just kind of does this shit. Like, the fact that it just boosts up like that is really hilarious. It's a little hermit crab. It's so goofy. And I'm just really glad that this suit is actually in the game, because it's been a long time coming. This is a Zeta era suit, you know. And when you compare it to other suits of this size and stuff, it is a little weird that it took them this long to actually put it in. Although one thing to note, and I forget if it actually happens in the match that I showed you guys, but it does get stuck in some spots. Arctic, that little undernook at mid under the platform, those little spots that you can go around in, not really that easy to get through, if at all. So I don't know if they're gonna do the usual, like, let it clip through objects in order to get through stuff like that later on, because like I said, like, it's not much bigger than even this thing. But it's mostly just the body that's starting to do the blockage for stuff like that. Honestly, I don't mind this thing. I do hope that we don't see this fall off after the first week. I feel like it's potent enough that it can kind of get her done, and I hope that it doesn't get super nerfed because someone just goes like insane in this thing and just pisses a bunch of people off. But we'll have to see. Right now, I think it's in a good place. Maybe if they really wanted to, they could make the neutral mode of the flight mode a little bit less vulnerable. I wouldn't mind that. I feel like most people would probably think that's a little bit busted, but you know what? I almost rather them had tried that first and then maybe debuffed it later or nerfed it later just to see how it actually would have been, because I think now we're not going to really find out. But, you know, it is what it is, and when it's low it does have this extra mode, so that is the Baund Doc. Hopefully if you guys have gotten it, let me know in the comments how you've been enjoying it. I'm definitely going to try to get some more games in here with it. Hopefully we'll have some of those on stream and maybe put some of those on YouTube if I feel a little bit better about them. But until then, this is Goose on the 13th. I'll talk to you all next time.